Doesn't. Oh, there we go. Welcome everyone. This is Casper Stockham here. I'm a talent scout for ASA Network, and we have got a great interview for you today. I'm here with Marty Orcutt. He was born on the 4th of April in upstate New York and is 57 years old. He taught high school physics for 8 years, but realized that his potential to become truly wealthy through teaching career was not possible. Realizing that his sales profession was a better path to financial freedom, he became highly successful selling insurance and eventually became a stockbroker and financial planner with A.G. Edwards and Associates. His first foray into MLM was with the Amway business back in 1979 and made it to Emerald Direct within 3 years, which is really good because I was in Amway myself, so I know about that. He is also has a passion for network marketing and was Director of Marketing for M.T. Conley and Associates, where he honed his management skills. Today, Marty and his wife, Christina, are among the top earners and leaders in Global Domains International, as well as Asante Worldwide out of Phoenix, Arizona, which is a short drive from his home in beautiful Sedona, Arizona. And I've been to Sedona. It is truly beautiful. We're honored today to interview Marty as he shares some fundamental principles to help ASA members achieve their goals within the network marketing industry. So Marty, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Casper.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you being on the interview today. Hey, can you tell us a little bit more about your background? I know I read some of it, but can you expand upon that a little bit?
Well, I've been involved in network marketing for a long, long time, about 30 years actually, and along with my wife, Christina. And between the two of us, we have quite a bit of experience in the industry, and one of the things that's been really helpful for us is that we're both on the same wavelength and we both love the industry, so that's been a real blessing to us.
Well, it's definitely always fortunate to have a husband and wife team. In fact, I don't think there's anything more powerful on the planet than a husband and wife team focused in the same direction. So
for sure.
Yeah, so I know I read some of your background, but how did you actually get started? Was there any one pivotal point that kind of started you down the direction of a home-based business or MLM?
Well, you had mentioned that I have a background teaching physics and in mathematics and so forth, and I like to think kind of logically, and I realize that the amount of money that I make is limited by how many hours there are in a day and how many hours there are in a week, and that's if I'm being paid on a per hour basis or if
Right.
I'm on a salary. And I realized that with network marketing I could circumvent that time obstacle by duplicating myself, and therefore there was no limit to it, and it would also produce an income 24 hours a day, and especially because what I'm involved with is all over the world. So it has to do with this time. I mean, even if you make a lot of money on a per hour basis, there's still only basically 40 hours in a week, and you make 20 bucks an hour, that's 800, 40 times 20, and you take out all your expenses and taxes and everything, and you might do a little better than that, but there is a limit to it. So with network marketing there is no limit, and so when I realized that, that's when I really truly started getting very excited about network marketing.
Now, the very first time that you saw MLM, I guess it was with the Amway business, were you excited that very first time you saw it?
Well, back when I was in Amway, people didn't even say it was an Amway meeting. I had I was a science teacher, as I said, and there was a teacher in the room next to me, and he invited me to attend a business meeting that night, and that was my my first experience with network marketing. But if you know anything about Amway, and you said that you did, the guy that was doing the presentation was drawing these circles on a whiteboard, and he drew a circle and he says, "This is you," and then he drew some more circles, and it was really quite a while before I even realized that it was Amway. In fact, if he'd have told me it was in the beginning, I wouldn't have known anyways. I just really wasn't familiar with it at all. But I did start seeing the power of duplication, and so that's how I got started.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty much my story too. It was one of my first companies way back in the day. Hey, I know you're excited about your current business, so let me go ahead and pull that up and tell us a little bit about your current business.
Well, the business that I'm passionate about right now is it's called Asante Worldwide, and as you mentioned, their home office is in Phoenix, Arizona, and I've only been involved with it for a little over 2 months. But what really struck me was that when Christina and I got involved with Asante, within a week we had been bringing in quite a few people, and the owners of the company invited us down to their home office, and we did a couple YouTube presentations with them, and we've gotten to know the owners and so forth, and they were both top earners with Nu Skin, and they understand what it's like to be in the trenches and to be involved in the network marketing industry, and that was impressive. And the fact that they took the time and the trouble to have us down there and meet with us and buy us lunch and just show us around the facilities and everything, that was really good. So they've got a solid background in network marketing, and they also are on the trend where the world is going green, and people are becoming more aware of what it is that they're putting on their bodies and in their bodies. And so what the company deals with is an entire catalog of personal care and household products that are environmentally safe and that are non-toxic, chemical-free. And you know, when people, if they go to the supermarket and let's say, for example, they buy a bottle of shampoo, if they take it home and start reading the list of ingredients and doing Google searches, starting at the bottom where they put all the nasty stuff and start searching, they'll find that there's a lot of harmful chemicals, carcinogenics, and so forth that are in common products that people are using every day. You know, whether it's shampoos or toothpaste or soaps or anything. And you know, there's a lot of companies that deal with organic products, but what Asante has is an entire catalog, and so it covers the spectrum from A to Z. They've even got things like pet foods and so forth. That so we saw a trend, and just like with energy drinks, for example, Red Bull has a huge market share because they were the first. Now there's all kinds of competitors, but they still have the largest market share because they're the first. And what attracted me about Asante when I started looking into it was they're the first ones that has an entire catalog, not just one or two products. And so, in a nutshell, that's why I'm excited about this. It's going to be huge.
Well, that's fantastic. Now, how long have you been working with Asante?
It's only been a little less than 3 months, actually. Prior to that, you know, I've done some other things, and you know, what I found in this industry is that a lot of companies that, well, there's all kinds of new startup companies are coming out all the time, and most of the time they only last a short period of time, and there's very few of them that are around a year later after the initial startup.
For sure.
And so what you want to do is you want to be in the opening phases. You want to be in the early growth stage, like the people, for example, with Amway that are making the big bucks came in early in the program, because you definitely want to be early in there, but then again, you don't want to be wasting all your energy on something that's going to fritter away and not be solid, because most of them, as I said, they do kind of go away. So you have to have the right financial backing, and when I looked into Asante, I realized that, you know, they had the financial part taken care of because they had made a fortune with one product that was called the Power Pop. Basically it's a diet lollipop, which sounds kind of corny, but they sold millions of them, and it caught on with the Hollywood gang, and it's been on extra TV like 12 times, and lose weight, eating candy, and it's been in national newspapers and so forth. So they made a fortune with this, and with just the Power Pops, that one product. But what that did was it enabled the owners of the company, Michael and Daniel Weniger, to pursue their true passion, which was an entire catalog of organic personal care and household products, as I said before. But so, you know, that's why I'm excited about what I'm doing now.
Wow, that's fantastic. What would be the best advice you can give our members when it comes to being successful in business?
Well, first treat it like a business. I mean, for example, you know, if you call the phone company and you've got a dispute over a certain long-distance phone call or something, you can just recite your phone number, and they can pull up your records, and they can, you know, they can get right to the heart of what the problem is and get it dealt with. Same thing with, you know, if you've got a credit card dispute with, you know, J.C. Penney's or any other big company, they've got accurate records and so forth, so they know who you are, so they can get right at the deal. You know, it's what the problem is. And with network marketing, since it's a people business, you know, what I found to be very, very helpful is to have a database of people that I've got relationships with, in notes in there as to, you know, what's going on in their lives and so forth. For example, if I've got a prospect and it's my first contact with them, in a lot of cases I won't even get into the business part too much. I'll kind of just, you know, find out, you know, what makes them tick, and, you know, they'll tell me their daughter's getting married in, you know, 3 weeks or something like that, and I'll put that in the notes, and, you know, whatever it is they tell me that's relevant to building a relationship, it's in my notes, and then I might tag it for 2 or 3 weeks down the road, or sometimes even a couple months down the road. And, you know, I try to listen more than I do talk, and so I take in their information and I make notes, and so when I speak to them in the future, it's like I'm an old shoe. You know, I'm familiar with, you know, their background. I generally know their wife's name, maybe even their kids' names, you know, what's going on in their lives and so forth. And before you know it, it's like they could be on the other side of the country from me, and it's like they've known me for a long time, because you know, they think I got this excellent memory, which, you know, I got a pretty good memory, but it does help when I've got accurate notes and am well organized and so forth. And another thing, if someone calls me, you know, and they you know, they say they're so-and-so, I'll say, how is it you spell your last name? And they'll give me the first 3 or 4 letters, and by the time they give me the first few letters, I'm already on their file, and I know, you know, so you could do it with a Rolodex or 3x5 cards, I suppose, but with computer technology, you know, I use a program called the ACT program, and there's other programs that do the same thing, but, you know, so that's a big thing, is database management. And then building a list, and also trying to find experienced networkers is always a good thing too. It's a lot easier if you sign up people who have at least some network marketing experience or business experience or something, as opposed to, you know, someone who's brand new and just bought a computer the other day and, you know, has never been involved in, you know, any kind of entrepreneurial type enterprise. You know, it's an uphill battle. Although we definitely have our fair share of those kinds of people, and I believe in trying to help them as best I can. But if you want to get it up and running quick, you definitely want to go after you know, experienced networkers as best you can.
For sure. No, in the fast-paced world we live in today, you know, everybody's looking for the really quick, easy button, you know, kind of thing, you know, that you just click on and then you're successful. And, you know, it takes the, you know, the work ethic like you're talking about, you know, and I think we have unfortunately kind of moved away from that personal touch as well, you know, and that's something that everybody that I've interviewed, all the successful people, including yourself, all talk about, you know, still being in touch with people, you know, picking up that phone, or, you know, or even meeting in person if you can, you know, to make that personal connection.
Yeah, one of the things, it's kind of a pet peeve of mine, but people that are attempting to build a network marketing position, they're almost ashamed to reveal their identity, and they'll hide behind a screen name or against a silly email address or something like that, and they won't put in their phone number. I mean, it just boggles my mind how someone thinks that they're going to build a big business and not even reveal their contact information, how to get a hold of them. It's like having a restaurant and putting bars across the door, not letting anybody in because you don't want them to know. You know, it blows me away, but you know, there's a lot of that going out there, which explains a lot of the frustration and failure in the industry.
Sure. You know, it's funny you mentioned that, because I put my name and number in everything. You know, I have it in my signature line at the bottom of my emails. I actually want people to call me as opposed to people running from. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I want to stand out in the middle of the highway and do jumping jacks and say, look, I got something you need to know about, and, you know, I'm not going to be evasive about, you know, my identity and how to get a hold of me, and, you know, that's a key thing, and so many people are doing that wrong and looking at it wrong.
Yeah. You know, it just comes down to me, Marty, it comes down to integrity, and if you have integrity, and, you know, if you are a real person and true to your word and stuff, you're going to be someone that's transparent and easy to reach and easy to talk to.
Yeah, it definitely makes a difference. I've had a lot of people have told me that the reason they signed up with me and Christina is because you know, we put our phone number there, and we pick up the phone when they call us. You know, that's another thing. We don't try to duck their, you know, let it go into voicemail or something. Once in a while, if we're out, you know, that'll happen. But
sure,
we're easy to get a hold of.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, do you have any final thoughts before we go ahead and wrap the interview up?
Well, I just would say that, you know, list building is huge, and, you know, it's a sifting and sorting. You build your list, you take advantage of modern technology, you get, you know, you want to make sure you have a good autoresponder and a way to stay in touch with people. You don't necessarily want to sell through email marketing, but you do want to maintain, you know, a little bit of, you know, openness, and that you are available. And, you know, as I said before, you know, always make sure your contact information is there. But build big lists, and then do a sifting and sorting, and then realize too that not everybody's going to get involved with this. You need people, but you don't need any one particular person. So, you know, you just, like I say, in hard work. You know, that's another thing. It's just working hard, but the payoff is worth it, because once you get it built, that residual income is incredible. It's really great. It affords us a nice lifestyle.
Well, Marty, I sure appreciate your time in the interview. And you know what? I'm pretty sure we're actually going to be able to meet in person because my sister lives in Phoenix, and my wife and I love Sedona and stuff. Every time we go to Phoenix, we always try to go either up to or drive down through Sedona. And we've even thought about getting a second home there. So, you know, it's someplace that we have on our radar screen. So next time we come through
Well,
Sedona, you know, we'll give you a holler.
yeah, that'd be great. Do you know where the village of Oak Creek is? It's actually just outside of Sedona. It's considered Sedona, but we only live about 5 or 6 miles away from the exit on I-17. So if you're in Phoenix and you're heading north towards Flagstaff on 17, you get off at the Sedona exit and you shoot up the road there ways and give us a call and stop by our house, and you know, sure, I'd be more than happy to meet with you. It'd be great.
Sounds good. Will do. Hey, I appreciate your time, Marty. And thank you for your words of wisdom. I know our members will definitely get something from it. Hey, this is Casper with ASA Network, and we have another interview done. Appreciate your time, Marty, and bye-bye for now.
Okay, thank you.